Roz, what have you heard about Vegas, what they plan to do at quarterback?
Well, I don't think Tom can play, so that's one guy that you can probably cross off the list. I think he's done. It's like Pittsburgh and the Jets, right? They're sort of in the early stages of the evaluation of what's going to be available to them and what they're going to be able to do. You know, Russell Wilson is a free agent. He has some history with Pete Carroll. I've been told that they've sort of mended whatever fences need to be mended, so maybe he's an option if they're looking for a short-term fix. They know they need a long-term fix at the position, but sometimes that can be easier said than done. But I'm sure you'll see them poke around on the possibility of signing a Sam Darnold or trading for Kirk Cousins, just like all these other quarterback-needy teams. And then, of course, they'll scout the draft and see if they can get somebody there who can be a more permanent solution. But just like I feel like a broken record, a lot of these teams, they're just beginning the process of what's going to be available to us and what makes sense for us.
All right, Dan, what should the plan be at quarterback for Carroll and company?
I think the first call I would make would be to Matthew Stafford and Los Angeles Rams to figure out what Stafford's plans are. Is he going to play? Is he going to retire? Do they want him back? Honestly, if I were the Giants, if I were the Steelers, if I were a lot of teams, that would be my number one call. Raiders, try to see kind of what the plan is for Matthew Stafford. Number two, I'd call the Seahawks and see what their plan is with Geno Smith. I believe he's going into the last year of his contract. Do they want him long-term there? Does Seattle want to restart at the position? Obviously, Pete Carroll and Geno Smith have the history. And then if not, I do think you got to get into that second tier of this year's draft class. Jalen Milroe, Quinn Ewers, Kyle McCord out of Syracuse is somebody that I think can rise up draft boards. The Ohio State product who transfers over to Syracuse and plays phenomenal football. Will Howard out of Ohio State. But I think McCord is somebody that's going to make a lot of noise in that second round of the draft.
And, you know, Pete Carroll has had success with getting quarterbacks around that time. Russell Wilson, obviously a third rounder. Geno Smith goes in there, and we look at him completely different before he got there. But the more important thing for me, for Pete Carroll, and even why he was an enticing candidate for the Vegas Raiders is because he's a culture builder. And when you saw him in the press conference, you got that feel. That's what he offered to the Seahawks. That's what he did at USC. And him more than any other coaches that I saw in their press conference, it made you feel like they were in that direction. Because he's the kind of guy that's going to go in there. Exactly. He's not going to be like, this is my system, this is what we do. No, he's going to see what the situation calls for, see what the organization needs, and give them stability in a way that they haven't had it.
The presence was so apparent. It did. It felt like, to me, that the Raiders kind of won the head coaching hiring cycle.
You need that in that division, though. Andy Reid, Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, you need somebody that can go toe-to-toe with them.